Welcome. You are now tuning into the Positive Deposit podcast, where we transform minds to change lives. And it's an honor to have this guest on today, because we share a lot of commonality, with having stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
And before we get started, because I'm really excited about this, because he's very motivational. I see his videos on Instagram, and it's inspiring. I'm about to get on that hill. I definitely am going to get on the hill. Yep. But I want to give this opportunity for you to, introduce yourself, Mike, and tell a little bit about yourself, and we'll get right into the conversation.
Cool. Well, Mike Hill. I am the founder of Dog Culture LLC. Like Presley said, I am a stage 4 cancer conqueror. I was diagnosed in 2011. I was playing arena football at the time, and I went through a series of chemo treatments, and then doctors started to tell me that, it wasn't looking good and I should take a cruise. And I actually heard a couple times that, hey, you're going to die soon. So me being a football player, there's something called like a dog mindset, right? And it's the motto is kill or be killed. And I was literally in a situation where it was kill or be killed. So I had to take that approach, and I had to shift my mindset from football to cancer. And I said, no matter what happens, if it's an obstacle, I'm gonna run right through it. And we'll probably get into it more, but long story short, I've been through over 50 chemo treatments, stem cell transplant.
Wow.
And in 2013, I received my own stem cells, a new immune system, and I've been trucking ever since. And so I created Dog Culture. And do you want me to get into how that started? Or?
I'm gonna take you back, but I mean,
yeah.
That you just said, you said a 50. Now, see, I thought I was going through something. I only had to do 12, so you did 50. So we're gonna jump into that. So
all right, let me clear it up. It was about 50.
Okay.
Because it was about 3 years. And
okay, over 3 years span.
Okay. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So, where were you at when you first got diagnosed, man? I know you said in your bio, you're about 25. Like, were you just coming out of college? You were working? Like, how did you find out about your diagnosis?
Okay, so I graduated college in 2007, and I was in the mini camp with the Redskins. So as a kid, the dream is to go to the NFL. So
right.
I'm there, and I'm like, boom, I ain't going home. Then I got cut, right? So I transitioned into arena football, right?
Okay.
And so my dream is still there. I'm still talking to scouts and teams like, yo, you need to lose some weight. I'm like, cool, okay, I'll play arena. I'll use this platform to get back. So
what position did you play?
I played safety.
Oh, so he had to put my guns ain't there yet, but yeah, that's safety.
I played safety, and so I I'm sorry. So the first year I did really good, and then my second year, my body was acting a little weird. So I would put my pads on, and I would just immediately start itching. And I had dreads at the time, so I'm like, all right, maybe it's the dreads. And eventually I cut my hair, just like going crazy. I was like, I don't know, I got lice. I don't know. I just cut it.
Yeah.
And it got it kept coming. It got worse, and I kept playing, but then like my reaction time was off. And then eventually, so in arena we had practice at 12 o'clock at night. I was falling asleep behind the wheel going to and from practice. So I would be driving Beltway, come off the curb, hit the curb, wake up, fall back asleep. And eventually I was like, well, maybe I don't love football, because now I'm at practice and I'm not really feeling it because I don't understand what's going on with my body. So mid-season I retired. So I'm like kind of depressed, and I'm working out still, but I just like, did I really give up on my dream? Like, I'm feeling like I'm not the type of guy that gives up, but I just couldn't play anymore. So I'm working out one day, and I'm pushing some weight, and I feel like a pull in my neck. And so it was like I was military pressing 225. So I was like, okay, maybe it's because the weight was too heavy. So I came home, put ice on it, kept it moving, and really never thought of it again. The knot never went away. So this is like October December comes, it's still there, and I just think, I got to pull a muscle, and that's what it is. So I get sick December 31st, 2010. I get sick, and I go into the hospital because I had asthma growing up, right?
Yeah.
So side story, when I was born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck, and
Wow.
the doctor told my mom, because I didn't breathe for like 2 weeks. They were like, "Oh, if he makes it, he'll be brain dead." So I tell people I was born fighting for my first breath. So I go there and I get on my little breathing machine, and right before I leave, like they was about to release me, I said, "Can you check out this knot? Because I think I pulled a muscle."
Right.
She touched my neck, eyes got really big. She left, came back, like, "Yeah, we got to admit you. You got to do a biopsy."
Wow.
And I'm like 25. I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And, I go in, do the biopsy, and they admit me in the room. And I'm literally thinking, like, I got the flu. I just don't know. So they come in, a team of doctors, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, "I'm cool." And they kind of like looking at me like crazy. And I'm like, "What's up?" And they said, "Okay, so, well, we ran the results of the biopsy, and you have stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. Still don't really know what it is." And I'm like, "All right, so I gotta, go to the pharmacy. Like, what do I need to do?"
Yeah.
And they was like, "Nah, it's a little deeper than that. You got to take chemotherapy." And it kind of hit me because, like, I know what chemotherapy means. And I'm saying, so I say, chemo is associated with cancer.
Right.
And she says, "Well, what you have is a form of cancer. And it's in the last stage, so we have to act fast." And then that's how I found out.
So when you finally put the 2 and 2 together, that lymphoma and cancer fall into the same line, what was going through your mind then?
I don't think I like spoke for about 2 days. And I'm like, high school, I was class clown. I'm the clown of my family. And it was like 2 days where I just didn't like understand. It wasn't registering.
Yeah.
And like my parents were like, "You okay?" And I just be like, "Yeah, I'm straight." And it didn't really sink in until I was like, I got cancer. And then for some reason, I was like, well, this is a challenge, so let's do it. So once I like locked in, like, all right, I'm gonna take this chemo and I'm a beast this joint. And once I got there, maybe 2-3 days later, I was okay with the challenge. And then that's how everything really started.
So what was it? You mentioned chemotherapy. What was that treatment cycle like? Was it bi-weekly? Was it, you had to do radiation as well? Like, what was your treatment like?
Right. So I never did radiation. And I was at Kaiser and Largo, and I think I had to go every day. No, not yet. So I think I did 2 days on and like 2 days off or something like that for like 2 weeks. And it started out like really helping because I couldn't go outside in the sun without my body itching and feeling uncomfortable. So I stayed in the house all the time. So after like 3 or 4 treatments, I peeked my head out the window and like I could kind of like sit in the car and not go crazy. So it was working, but it was like probably like every 2 days I had to go in.
So just being out in the world, you would just start to itch?
Yeah, like I couldn't even chill in the world. Like I didn't go outside the house.
That would be so annoying, man. That would definitely be so annoying. So outside of that side effect, what were some of the other side effects that took place?
Okay, so it's 3 major ones. It's chronic itching, fatigue, and then night sweats. And the night sweats, it was like I would have to change my shirt like 4 times a night.
Yo, it's so annoying, right? So
exactly.
Annoying.
And it's like, because at first I didn't know, so I'm like, I'm sweating. This is crazy. So I was sleeping with a fan and a heater, and like, cause I'm cold because I'm sweating, but then I'm hot. So I had the fan and the heater on, and the night sweats, that was annoying. But what I didn't mention, in 2010, the itching started January 2010. I actually went to several hospitals trying to figure out what it was, and they was like, it's dermatology related. Let's change your soap. Let's change your detergent. And I actually went to Hopkins, and they still, like, they took skin samples. They still couldn't tell me anything. So I was like literally scratching sores in my legs because it was itching so bad, and I was just bleeding all over the place. My feet, my legs, it was crazy.
So I mean, isn't that crazy? And I experienced kind of the same thing where like the sweats, and I'm thinking like, maybe I got a cold or things of that nature. But these are some of the things that are some of the symptoms of Hodgkin's lymphoma that if you don't get it checked out or you don't know, you're just thinking like it's just common colds or just,
Right.
you exercise a lot. So all right, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
so that's interesting how it's like you were just itching, but that was a side effect. And if you would have known that before, you could have probably, caught this a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And so you did the chemo, you finished the treatment, but then you see what I'm saying, like it came back. How
So
was that? How was that experience?
so I'm a little hard headed, right? So
Are we all?
yeah. I did the chemo, and like once I started being able to go out into the world again, I was like, oh, I can be a regular person.
Okay.
So some like an individual close to me said, because it was hurting everything. Like it wasn't just killing, because you know what the chemo does, it kills the good and the bad cells.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kept being admitted to the hospital because I had a lot of fluid build up in my lungs. So
Okay.
like they were draining like 1.5, 1.7 liters of fluid like every couple of days. And I started to get frustrated, and they wouldn't let me leave the hospital because they said my blood pressure was too high. And I was like, I'm fine. So
Yeah.
eventually I took it upon myself to stop taking the chemo, right?
Oh
So
wow.
someone suggested maybe you should go this holistic route. And I was like, you know
Okay.
what? I am going to go the holistic route. That was the first time my doctor said I was going to die. She said, if you stop taking this medicine, you'll die. And then I was like, yo, you challenging me? So I was like, cool, I'm definitely going to stop now. So I go this holistic route, and I was doing the craziest thing, jumping on trampolines, taking these rocks,
Yeah.
no meat. And then 4 months later, the symptoms came back like extremely, it was bad. And so I was like, yo, oh, I'm sorry. So I called the doctor, right? The holistic doctor, who picked up my phones all the time. He didn't pick up. I texted him, hey doc, my symptoms are back. What should I do? Didn't respond. Email, call. To this day, has never responded to me, bro. Like to this day, never responded. So when I went back, I go back and they got the I told you so face. And I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. And then I start taking the chemo. And then after my couple treatments, PET scan, they was like, nothing's like, it's not changing. And then that's when it kind of got a little shit.
So you're being hard headed.
Right.
Going the holistic, route, and then you talked to, and I was reading your bio, and you talked about stem cell transplant. Was that was the cause and effect of you getting off the treatment and then it becoming worse?
Yeah. So after I came back and the chemo wasn't working, I did about maybe 4 or 5 more adriamycins and all this stuff. I did a couple more treatments with Kaiser, and then I went to do the stem cell.
Okay.
And the stem cell, I'm sorry, the bone marrow, because my father was like a half match, and they were like, okay, we can do this. So it was set up for me at Hopkins to go for like a week, do my bone marrow, travel back and forth. And then after I got that last high dosage, I took my PET scan, and then she was like, oh, this is bad. And I'm like, what you mean? She said, it didn't work, and it's like nothing else we can do. I said, all right, but what is the next treatment? She's like, no, I'm telling you, there's nothing we can do from here. Wow. And then she said, have you ever been on a cruise? Same doctor who told me I was going to take an L. Have you ever been on a cruise? And I'm like, yeah, why? And she said, maybe you should, go on a cruise and see some sights, because it's not looking good for you. And then.
So wait, hold on. She already saying like it's almost over for you.
Right. She caught, like, she tried to write me off. It was a wrap. And but that's the thing, because doctors only know the statistics. Like they only know like their facts. And then they put those facts on you. And that's what I tell people. You can't let other people's experiences become your truth. Like your truth is your truth no matter what. So when she told me that was another challenge. She said, what you gonna do? And the only thing I can say is like, I'm gonna pray. Like
Yeah.
that's all I can do. I said, and then I said, I'm gonna beat it on my own. So I went about 2 or 3 weeks going to the gym, like lifting weights, trying to get as strong as I can physically to beat cancer, because they said there's nothing else. I said, I'm gonna trust God. I'm gonna lift weights. That's all I know. And I'm gonna like really be a dog, and I'm gonna beat this job. And bro, when I tell you the late night hours, when the pain set in and it was just me, and I like walk my dog at like 12 o'clock at night, man, I would break down so many times, and I just like wonder why, like what did I do wrong, bro? And that's the part, because I don't know if you experienced it, but after the chemo, that's the part that kind of kept me in a place of depression, because I didn't understand like what I did. And I guess it was like that victim mentality, but like, why me type thing. And I had to get out of that. But I'm sorry, fast forward.
No, you good. I mean, and you talked about your faith, and then you got into depression. How did you get out of that why me mentality? Because us as men, mental health is really a thing. And sometimes that alpha man in us will like, no, I don't need to see a therapist. No, I'm good. Mm-hmm. But, you know, for us as survivors, I did, like you, I had those moments like, yo, why do I have to go through this? And mind you, this was the second time, but what did you do to get out of that mentality? Because that's a dark space, man.
A really dark space. It's funny because I didn't want to get out of that space. Like I wanted to rebel. I wanted to do everything that I wasn't supposed to do. Because like I was raised in the church, you know?
Yeah.
And I had this, and I don't know how this might come off to other people, but I had this religious mindset of I got to do X, Y, and Z, and I got to be perfect in order to get blessed. So that was my mindset going through college. Like I got to do everything right to go to the league. So that's what I was doing. And that's where the why me came from. My perspective was off. It was like, yo, I've done everything right. How can this happen to me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now I understand that it's not about your works. You know, it's about like who you are as a person. And now it's my perspective is life is going to happen. It's just how do you perceive it? If you look at it as this is an opportunity for me to grow, then you don't come from a victim, mindset. You come from a winner's mindset. So now when I approach situations in life, it's like, okay, yes, this happened, but how can I make it benefit? And I didn't get there. I'm bouncing all over the place. But the way I got out was this. So I'm in a place and my mom was like, yo, you got to tell your story. And I'm not telling nobody nothing. And I started like randomly bumping into people who got diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like, oh, I'm not talking to them. But when I hear them talking and I see them break down, like it's like I was drawn to them. So I would talk, stage 4. And this is still from a place of being, in that dark space, but I understood what they needed at the moment. So I would go and I would talk to them like, look, you're going to be okay, because I would tell them straight up, like, don't listen to the doctors, because they told me I was going to die several times. And I said, you're going to be okay, because I had stage 4 and I'm still here. And it's several people that, like, they came back to me and they cried and hugged me and, like, you really helped me. And then I'm like, yo, so what's it really all about? So now I'm like, I'm understanding that what we go through isn't for us. So then once my mind started to go there, it's like, how many people am I really helping from telling my story? And then I just kind of shifted to a place of gratefulness, because now I understand that I'm here for a reason. Like I could not be here, because there were people that I went in with who didn't make it. Like I would go back to the hospital. You remember so-and-so? Yeah, oh, he didn't make it. So now it's like, it's all like coming together. Like I'm here for a reason. And once I started to realize I had purpose outside of football, the depression went away. Because I honestly feel like we all just like we're seeking that purpose. And once we find it, now we have something bigger than ourselves to live for. You feel me?
No, that's powerful, man. And I appreciate you sharing that, because, and I'm glad you got over that hump or that resistance of not sharing your story, because your story is not for you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's for someone else, and to be not only your testimony, but a blessing So that way, that's that hope and that inspiration. Like, all right, if this man can get through it and he's being vulnerable and naked with me, I know I can do it too. So I'm glad that you got over that journey. Right. Now let's talk about dog culture. So yeah, let's talk about dog culture. So, because I feel like that this dog culture is a part of the work from this. You know what I mean? Like you're a cancer conqueror. I've never heard that before. So a cancer conqueror. So let's talk about dog culture. How did you, did you formulate this after, you finished, chemo and everything?
Yeah. So it's funny how it happened. And so this is why I say conqueror though, because I feel like when you survive something, it still has power over you, because like when you survive something, that means it's bigger than you. But to me, and this is just my mindset, when you conquer something, you own it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't fear death. I don't fear cancer. I don't fear nothing, because I believe that I'm bigger than what happened to me. And that's why I say I'm a cancer conqueror. But when I was working at the State Department, which I still am, but so one, I just was excited to be able to pay bills. Like it was crazy. It was Thanksgiving. They like, what you thankful for? I was like, man, I get to pay bills. Like I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. And then, but that kind of went away. Like, all right, I'm here. I made it 2-3 years later. Now I'm missing football. I'm missing purpose. And that's when I started bumping into people. So I was talking to my friend, my man Mark, and I said, yo, I can't do this. Like I'm sitting behind a desk. Like this is not for me. And I started like applying for PG police and Secret Service, because I got friends in the law enforcement, and I would go and I passed the physical test, but I failed a lie detector. I'm like, yo, I ain't no liar, but I be nervous because I'm not a good liar. So if I say something, and I don't know how it works, but so my boy was like, yo, just make your own. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but you're right, make your own. Then I applied for another one, and I regret to inform you. And then eventually, when we got furloughed, I was just like writing stuff down. I said, I can't do this. And I'm like, I should just come up with something like dog. Cause I always said, like when I was younger, like, what's up, big dog? Like that's how I talk.
Yeah.
I was like, I should just like come up with something like dog. I said dog movement, a dog. So, and I just kept saying it, and I wrote it down. I like scribbled it on a piece of paper. And my barber at the time, because my hair is like bald and it's crazy, so he's like an artist, and he be blending in, and he can actually paint too. So I like gave him this paper with the word dog on it. I said, yo, I think I need you to make me a logo. I'm gonna start wearing my own clothes, because because when I was at State, I had to wear slacks. I'm like, this isn't me. I'm a football player. I want to be comfortable. I said, well, I just make my own. And he sent me this logo, and I said, yo, I was like, that's crazy. So I said, I think this is what I'm going to do. So the dog culture clothing is like one side of the business, but the motivational speaking is like what I'm really in love with. The clothing just runs hand in hand, because I'm a football player, and athletic apparel, but the culture, this is like what it stands for, is desire, attitude, will, and grind. And what I always tell people, my desire to live was bigger than that doctor that kept telling me I was going to die. I had to keep a positive attitude, even when I looked in the mirror and didn't see myself. Like I was like, I don't know who that dude is, but I'm going to keep my eyes on the prize. And I had like, when I did the stem cell transplant, quick story, I was running around the hospital that like before with my little pulley thing with so, and they was like clapping me on. And when after my stem cell transplant, I couldn't move, but I had to like will myself out the bed. So I was like, I just got to get up. So that was like, you got to will yourself through whatever's trying to stop you. You got to will yourself to do what you said you were going to do. And then the grind was, no matter how long this takes, I'm not going to quit. So I'm going to put my head down, I'm going to grind it out. And the whole culture, that's how it came about.
So I'm gonna switch gears and let's go through. Did you watch the verses last night?
Nah,
Art Snoop, DMX.
I didn't see none of that.
Are you a fan of either one?
Both, but X really though.
X, okay. Because I was gonna ask you who you think would have won, and a lot of people were they got mixed feelings, but you know, I feel like DMX. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like DMX came with that more grit. Like Snoop is a nice Doberman.
Yeah.
X is,
Right.
but X is like that mean, tough, husky pit bull. You know what I mean? He was running out of breath, so you might need to holler at him. You see what I'm saying? I might need to help him up that hill. You know, he had to sit down a lot of times. You see what I'm saying? Catching his breath, but but I love your movement because never quit, never stop, never fold. You see what I'm saying? And it's, when I think about that, I think about my cancer journey, and just for cancer survivors, is like you have to put yourself in that mindset that you will never stop, you will always continue to fight, and you can never fold, because there's people as strong as me and you that are here today. You know what I mean? I'm 2-time, and I had 2 different, you know, types of cancers. One, large B-cell lymphoma, which that's a whole nother, you'll hear about that in my journey, you know what I mean? But the stage 4 like you, and I just commend you, because, you know, like, yeah, you were being hard-headed, and we get that time at that time, but you still you got back on track.
Right.
Then you did the stem cell, you humbled yourself, and now, you see what I'm saying, you have a platform that is inspirational, and I only commend you for, you know what I mean, definitely bringing that to light and being consistent, because a lot of people ain't consistent, right? And but I want to talk, I want to switch gears, because I like Dog, but like I like what you're doing, because it's a story behind this t-shirt. It says, I mean, like, I ain't never been on your hill before, you see what I'm saying? But I just want you to tell people like what you do for cancer survivors, just like myself, you know what I mean, that you just do out of the love, because that's pretty dope. That when I think I did National Survivors Day, I think that's when I did the post or something.
Okay.
And then you hit me on the side, and I'm like, did we go to Howard? We're at a party? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But you were like, yo, congratulations. And I'm about to send you this shirt. What's your t-shirt size? I mean, I got the wristband. You see what I'm saying? So tell people what you do for cancer survivors, man.
So initially, I started my company like strictly for cancer patients and cancer survivors or conquerors. And my wife, she's dope. And she's the reason, like, I branched out and I'm doing all this stuff now. But initially, it's because I have a heart for cancer patients and their families, because I understand what it does to a family, to people. Like, even if like you can't work, and that doesn't even matter anymore. All you're focusing on is living. Like, I just need to see the next day. So when I hear about people battling, one, I think about what I thought about and what I needed at the time. And one thing I know I needed was a support system other than my family, as weird as it might sound. My family, of course, they were there for me, and I love them for it. But I was so angry that I didn't receive their like love. I just was like, yo, don't talk to me. Like, you don't understand. And I really clicked with my nurses, because I felt like they understood me. Because everybody else was just like, they would treat me a little different. Like, you okay? They all right. So now, like, I come from a place of, all right, I see what you're going through, and what I needed was, I needed a support system, and I needed somebody who knew what I was going through. So because I can relate, I want to reach out to let you know you're not by yourself, because I've been there. And if you have any questions, I am here. And if you want to talk any hour, I don't care what time it is, because I was up 3-4 o'clock in the morning with nobody talking. I give people my information, like, yo, just hit me. I'm here. I'll wake up. I'll talk to you, whatever you need. So when I see people that's going through it, I just want to send them a Dog Culture t-shirt to let them know, yo, you're strong enough. Because I have people who battle cancer, and once I send them the shirt, they would take a picture in chemo with their shirt on. They were like, I wear this shirt every single time, because it lets me know how strong I am. And I do got that dog in me. So what I do for cancer patients and cancer survivors, like, I literally connect with them, because I feel like we're family. And if you need something, like, if you don't have anybody, just know I got you. Regardless, I got you, because I needed that for me, you know? So
no, and that's dope, man, because like, getting the shirt, like, of course, you know, people hit you and be like, all right, send me, when I got it, I knew that, you know what I mean, it was already a connection. We already have a connection because we're survivors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like it motivated me not only to, you know, go to your page, but to kind of see what you were about, you know, because I'm a firm believer that we as cancer survivors, you may call us conquerors, you see what I'm saying? I feel like we're superheroes, man. You know, we're superheroes, and that you won't know unless we, you know, bring out that Superman and tell you. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? We just, you know, whether you're Superman, whether you're Wonder Woman, whether, you know what I mean, you Iron Man, whatever it is, or if you're a dog, you see what I'm saying? Like, we are here for a reason. And I'm glad that you are paving the way and sending the elevator down to inspire people to rise up to the occasion, man, because that's monumental, man. It's monumental. And so since you exercise football, I want to ask you about some myths, man. So I want to ask you some myths about exercise, because you know, like, you know, some people need to know these things, man. So is it, you know, stretching before you work out, is it necessary? Is that like that you're supposed to do that? What do you think about that?
So if you're young, you can get away with it.
Okay.
When you get a little older, you might want to take care of your body. And me personally, I still don't stretch, and I hurt myself at times. But so I feel like I ain't got time for that. I just want to get into it. But then when you start like hurting some things, you're gonna take some time and really take care of your body. And I know I need to, because if you want to do it for a long time, you gotta preserve the body. So stretching is important. But when you're young, you ain't really got to stress.
You just don't like to listen, man. You like to do it your way, man.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, running versus walking, which is better? They say, you know what I mean, running is better than walking. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, walking is cool, but eventually I think you should pick up the pace a bit, you know?
Yeah. Now,
my grandmother
walking, okay. I know the answer to this, but they say, man, I got the flu, I'm sick, I can't work out. Is that a myth? Because you're sick, you can't work out?
Nah, dog. So when I get sick, I go right to the gym. Let me sweat the gym out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get sick, I think it helps. Like, you sweat it out, you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about exercise weights are better than free weights?
Well, like the machines?
The machine weights are better than free weights.
Nope. Because the free weights, they like, you got to use your stabilizers and your core to control the free weights. I believe you get more out of it. And yeah, definitely. I mean, it's work, but it ain't work.
So basically, all these people that are buying all these, you know, these resistance bands and all this other stuff, if you could get to a gym, get to a gym. But right now, because we're in COVID,
the resistance bands are good though. Like, it's a time and a place for everything. But like, if you're trying, you know what I'm saying, go in the jungle, you need to go in the jungle with the apes. Like,
with the gorillas. Yeah. So
throw that weight around.
Right. So, you know, they say abs are not made in the gym, but they're made in the kitchen. So is dieting better than exercising? Because, you know, I know some people, they run in every day and they still look the same, bro.
Yeah, because I don't know them, but if you running and you want to still eat the food that you shouldn't be eating, like the cheeseburgers every day, they kind of like balances it out. Like, if I run, I can eat a burger and I don't change. But if you take your diet serious and your workout serious, you'll see a definite change. But I think they run hand in hand, definitely.
So this is kind of like the last one. So what about? I got two more. If you sweating, that means you out of shape. Is that true? No. Nah.
That means you getting it in.
So I ain't gonna lie though. So sometimes I'll be feeling like, man, you know, like I'm sweating hard and I'm struggling a little bit because I run up hills. I do hills. You see what I'm saying? That's that resistance coming towards me. But you know, and then last but not least, are crunches the best for your core? Is that the only way you're gonna get the, you know, the six pack, or you know what I mean?
I honestly think I sprint, and why does this kept sprinting helps your core, but I do think like if you're not eating right, you can crunch all you want, and you're gonna have them. You seen the people with the muscles over the belly, you're gonna get that. But I feel like you dieting right, crunches, sit-ups. That's good. Yeah.
Oh
But,
man, yo. Well, thank you for clearing up some of those myths, man.
yeah.
As we start to, wrap up, man, positive deposits is built on, transforming minds that change lives. And so I want you to just tell those survivors, those recently diagnosed patients, up to three, if you can, three positive deposits that'll help them get through what they're going through.
I got 4 of them for you.
Okay, even better.
Desire, attitude, will, and grind. But out of all of that is one thing that matters, and the only thing that matters is your truth. And you have to fall in love with your truth to the point where nobody can tell you that it's not true. And this is what I mean by that. Like, your name is your name. If somebody walks up to me and calls me Eric, I won't answer because I know what my name is. So for my dogs that's battling cancer, you gotta know that you're healed, and this does not define, like, this will not stop me. If you put that in your mind and said, my truth is I will defeat cancer, no matter what news you hear, it won't affect you because you know which, like, you hold your truth high. This is what it is. Like, you can tell me I'm gonna die. You can tell me everything you want, but as long as I believe in my truth, I'm gonna be okay. That's the number one thing. And the desire, attitude, will, and grind, that's gonna see you through the process. But above all, your truth has to be bigger than the facts. The facts are, in stage 4 cancer, when the chemo don't work, you're gonna die in a couple months. The facts are, you stopped taking the chemo, and when you came back, it wasn't gonna work, and you're not gonna make it. Like, the facts don't mean anything because the facts is somebody else's experience. So when your truth, like, not because what I'm like, people think because this is how it's been, it has to be the same for me. Right. But what about the people that create new things? What about the people who break records? Like, it can be done. You just have to believe it. You feel me? And so believe your truth over the facts.
Man, that's powerful. And I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you for coming on and not only sharing your story, but your testimony and your truth. It's your truth, man. And I appreciate you. I applaud you as a stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma conqueror. I'm gonna start using that, conqueror. And so if folks want to follow you, man, and kind of get up that hill, how can they reach you, man? How can they reach you?
I'm on Instagram at D.A.W.G _culture. The same thing on Twitter. Okay. And Facebook, Dog Culture LLC. And then I have my own page where I do my speaking. They kind of run hand in hand. And on both Twitter and Instagram is at Gundog CEO. GUNNDAWG CEO.
Well, you know where to find him. He has some great motivational speaking videos, man. And if you want to get up on that hill, you got to get up at 5 a.m. I will definitely be up at 5 a.m. sometime this week or next week. So you hold me to it. Because I'm gonna run up hill and run up the alley. You know what I mean? Run up the alley. And so you're tuning into Positive Deposits, where we transform minds and change lives. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We all, those are the 4. You know what I mean? And definitely donate to this cause. This, without your support on positivedeposits.org, we can't make this happen. And so me and Dog Culture, we're going to be doing Positive Deposits, and Dog Culture is definitely going to do some big things. And I love it. And Mike, man, I appreciate you, man. And until next time, signing off.
I appreciate you having me, brother.